Well, hello everybody, and happy Friday out there for all of you Monday through Friday workers who have Saturday, Sunday off. Tomorrow we have a lot of spring games starting noon on Fox, Michigan, so I'll be staying tuned into that. And but for now, in this video, we are talking Big 12 football schedules, and I'm going to rank them. All right. I did the SEC, and I kind of did the Big 10. But if you watch the SEC, I listed some teams that were 10-win opponents that they have to play. They went 10 wins last season. Of course, teams can get better, teams can get worse throughout seasons, from one season to the next. People leave to the NFL, people come in from high school, now the transfer portal. It all can change. This is just for context. And also for context, I will be mentioning 9-win teams for the Big 12, because you only have two 10-win teams coming back to this conference. So it's worth mentioning there are 3 9-win teams in this conference. SEC had 1, and that was Tennessee. This new Big 12 conference has 8 new teams. Half of their 16 teams are new now over the course of the last couple of seasons. The additions that they have made, in Texas and Oklahoma going out to the SEC. And it takes time to figure out opponents and get what it takes to win versus them opponents. So this is just going to be a fun season in the Big 12. They're all new. They're all compatible, I would say. And their schedules do vary quite a bit, but there's no real hard schedule. The SEC had a 69% opponent percentage from last season. That was Florida. And the Big 10 had USC had 67%. Number one, all right, let's get into it. Number one is the hardest, is 57.8%. Arizona State has the hardest schedule. At Oklahoma State and at Arizona are 10-win teams that they play. They do not play any of the 3 9-win teams. Now we're going to start at the bottom. A couple things here. Arizona has a very different schedule than Arizona State entering the new conference, which is it's an easy schedule for Arizona. For a 10-win team under Jed Fish joining the new conference. And then how will the 8 new teams do against the 8 remaining teams? It'll be interesting to see. Just some notes I had for you. All right. Number 16 is Kansas. They have the easiest schedule in the Big 12. They went 9-4 last season. Their opponents went 63-84 last season, 42.9%. They play no 10-win teams, and they play UNLV, who was a 9-win team last season. So I'm sticking with the theme. If it was in conference, then I'm going out of conference for the Big 12, because you got to have context. Otherwise, I'm just saying, well, they don't play Utah, or they don't play the other 10-win team. Who was it? Arizona. I just mentioned it. So yeah, or Oklahoma State. Utah isn't even one of them. They went 8-5 last year. That's right. Cam Rising was hurt. He's back. All right. Number 15. Oklahoma State went 10-4 last season. A great team that gets a good schedule. Their opponents went 61-75, 44.9%. They play no 10-win teams, but they are at Kansas State, and then they have West Virginia at home that are 9-win teams from last season. All right. All this is from last season, okay? That's how I get it, and then this helps me determine, well, who's got an easy path, who doesn't, and then you dive into the breakdowns, which I will do more of, probably of a couple of these Big 12 teams coming up. Because I think Arizona is probably a playoff contender, dare I say. All right, number 14. Let's see if I can find it. I had to do some scribbling here. All right, Utah has the 14th hardest schedule, so the third easiest. 8-5 last season is what they went. Their opponents went 63-75, 45.7%. They are at Oklahoma State and they have Arizona at home, so they play the two 10-win teams, no 9-win teams. All right, let's see, number 13. UCF went 6-7 last season. Their opponents are 56-65. That's a 46.3% clip. But if them numbers seem low, it's because they play two FCS teams. And FCS records are not included in this. You should just beat them. Coming from a Michigan fan, I know, I get it. Yeah, App State. But hey, they were coming off national titles in the FCS, dang it. And they wiped off more people than just us after that. So they're a good program. And now they are in the FBS. All right. But UCF plays two FCS teams this season. And they play Arizona, which is a 10-win team, at home. And then they play a 9-win team, West Virginia, on the road. Let's see. Number 12 is Arizona. Like I said, an easier schedule. They went 10-3 last season. 64-73 are their opponents coming up. 46.7%. No 10-win opponents that they have to play. They are at Kansas State and have West Virginia at home. Number 11 is Texas Tech. They went 7-6 last season. 64-73. 46.7%. And they play the two 10-win teams, both on the road, Arizona and Oklahoma State. Excuse me. And then West Virginia, 9-win team at home. Number 10. Now you know that they're 10 and 9-win teams, so I'm just going to list them. All right. I do not edit here. It's the greatest graphics. It's the greatest editing in all of YouTube. None. It was like going live. I don't know why I don't. You might as well tell me you want to by liking and subscribing the videos. And let's move on. Number 10, Colorado has a pretty easy schedule. They went 4-8 last season. It's a 50% schedule their opponents played last season. At Arizona, Oklahoma State are the 10-win opponents. I have to because I divided them. They're not in order. Damn it. Kansas State is at home and then at Kansas. All right. Number 9 is Cincinnati. 3-9. 78-71. 52.3%. So we're getting better here. We're getting better schedules. This is why the SEC and the Big Ten deserve to get more teams in. Or break away to form their own league, because they have two teams that play a below 500 schedule. Both of them are in the SEC. Big 12 has 6 such teams, and then Colorado, who has the 50% clip. But Cincinnati plays a 78-71 opponent record. And they are at Miami of Ohio, who was a 10-win team last season, but then they have West Virginia and at Kansas State. All right, number 8, Iowa State. They went 7-6 last year, 74-67, 52.5%. At Iowa is a 10-win team, at West Virginia, at Kansas, and Kansas State. Yeah, as I said that, that's a 10-win team. They made it to the Big Ten championship game with no offense. That's gonna, wow. What will that game look like to start Iowa State's season? All right, TCU went 5-7 last season. Went to the national title game a couple years ago, and Sonny Dykes not doing so great now. But maybe he can bounce back with a 52.5%, same as Iowa State. But I thought TCU's schedule was harder than Iowa State's because they have at SMU, a 10-win team. Oklahoma State and Arizona are both at home, but they're 10-win teams. And then at Kansas as a 9-win team. All right. Number 6 is Kansas State. 9-4 last season is what they went. 75-65 are their opponents. 53.6%. They are at Tulane, a 10-win opponent. Arizona and Oklahoma State at home. And then they are at West Virginia and Kansas. Number 5 is West Virginia, another 9-4 team. 77-64, 54.6%. But Penn State at home, at Oklahoma State, at Arizona, 3 10-win opponents. And then Kansas and Kansas State in that order, both at home. Number 4, Houston, 4-8 last season. They have the 4th hardest schedule in the Big 12. 84-69, their opponents went with 54.9%. At Oklahoma, at Arizona are their 10-win opponents that they play, both on the road. UNLV at Kansas and Kansas State. Number 3 is Baylor, a 3-9 team from last season. Their opponents went 77-63, 55%. We're getting better. Oklahoma State is the 10-win opponent at home. And then they have Air Force, who was a 10-win opponent last season. But like I said, teams get better, teams get worse. At West Virginia, and then Kansas at home are their 3 9-win opponents. Number 2 is BYU. 5-7, missed a bowl last season. 82-60 was their opponents last season. 57.7%. They're at SMU, Arizona at home, and then at Wyoming, Kansas State, and Kansas were 9-1 opponents from last season. So brutal there, getting brutal here. And then number 1 is Arizona State, as I already mentioned. 89-65, 57.8%. And they have those road games at Oklahoma State and at Arizona. But the rest of it looks doable for them. So this is going to be such an amazing conference to watch. They don't know anything about each other except for the teams that are coming in with each other, you know. It's going to be interesting. So stay tuned. ACC breakdown is next. Man, I hope they have better schedules than this one. 6 teams under 50%. That's not good. You got to get that up. But like I said, they will weed it out if they stay this way for a while, or if we go to Super League, who the heck knows. But they'll have to figure each other out. Maybe they might not have the time to. They might be moving and shifting yet. So we shall see, but man, it's going to be fun to watch. Stay tuned for the spring game reaction from me tomorrow for Michigan football. And if I catch any other games, if they're televised, then I'll watch them, but we'll see. Thanks, everyone. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already. Come on, we're going one by one here, getting to 300. We can do that, can't we? Let's go. Have a great day, everybody.